When you experience that first spark of romantic tension with someone, it often happens in the quietest, most unexpected moments, and I want you to hear this carefully because this is where so many people misunderstand their own emotions. Romantic tension isn't created by flirting or long conversations or dramatic confessions. It is created by something far more subtle, far more powerful, and far more honest. It is created in the moment you feel seen by someone without a single word being exchanged. It's the moment when you catch them looking at you with an expression they didn't plan, when their eyes soften in a way they didn't rehearse, when their body language changes before they even become aware of it. You feel it because it is real, and you feel it because it is unfiltered. This unspoken recognition is a language of its own, a language that doesn't need translation, and a language that can reach you in a way words often fail to do. Think about how rare it is in your life to feel deeply seen. Most days you move through the world unnoticed, doing what you do, trying to stay strong, keeping your guard up, handling life as best you can. You laugh, you talk, you smile, but very few people truly see you. Very few people look at you long enough or deeply enough to notice what lies underneath. So when someone does, even for a second, even in a way they didn't mean to show, it hits you differently. It stops your thoughts. It makes your heart pull toward them with a force you can't explain. That moment of recognition makes you feel alive because someone has just acknowledged your existence without saying a single word. Someone has connected with you at a level that doesn't rely on logic or planning or effort. They simply saw you. And you felt it. This unspoken recognition is so powerful because it bypasses everything you normally use to protect yourself. It bypasses overthinking, it bypasses fear, it bypasses hesitation, and it bypasses the stories you tell yourself about why things won't work. It makes you feel something before your mind has time to interfere. That is why romantic tension feels so magnetic. It isn't built on fantasy. It is built on truth. It is built on energy. It is built on the part of you that responds to another person instinctively, the part of you that knows long before your rational mind catches up. When two people lock eyes for a moment too long, when two people share a silence that feels strangely full, when two people become aware of each other's presence even in a crowded room, it's because something unconscious has recognized something familiar, something safe, something meaningful. And maybe that's what scares you and excites you and confuses you all at the same time, because this unspoken recognition feels like someone has reached past your defenses and touched the parts of you you never show. It feels like someone has seen not just what you do or how you look, but who you are beneath it. That kind of recognition can feel intimate, even if nothing physically intimate has happened. It can feel vulnerable, even if no personal stories have been shared. It can feel like the beginning of something, even if no words have been spoken. You are not imagining it. You are responding to something real, something human, something powerful. Sometimes this recognition happens in a moment where they look at you with admiration they can't hide. Sometimes it happens when they smile at you in a way they don't smile at anyone else. Sometimes it happens when they seem to notice the smallest things about you without trying, like the way you adjust your hair, or the way you look down when you're shy, or the way your expression changes when you're thinking. People don't notice these details when they are indifferent. They notice them when something inside them is awakened, and even if they don't say anything, their silence speaks for them. This kind of tension can leave you wondering whether they feel the same, whether it's just in your imagination, whether you're misreading the signals. But understand this, your body recognizes energy even when your mind tries to deny it. We are built to sense connection. We are built to feel when someone is paying attention to us differently. We are built to feel when someone is drawn to us, even if they are trying to hide it. The reason this moment feels so powerful is because it confirms something deep inside you, something you don't always allow yourself to believe. It confirms that you matter. It confirms that you are noticeable. It confirms that someone, somewhere, sees value in you without you having to earn it, prove it, or chase it. And sometimes that unspoken recognition is the foundation of everything that comes later. It is the spark that lights the fire. It is the moment that changes the rhythm of your heartbeat. It is the beginning of a story you haven't written yet, but can already feel unfolding. Whether it leads to something beautiful or remains a silent memory, it still matters because it reminds you of your capacity to feel, your capacity to connect, and your capacity to be seen. That alone is powerful, and that alone is worth acknowledging because it tells you that something meaningful is waking up inside you again. When you feel that powerful romantic tension building between you and someone, one of the clearest silent signals is the way their body language becomes unavoidably drawn towards you. And I want you to really pay attention to this, because the body never lies the way words do. A person can pretend they are not interested, they can act indifferent, they can give short replies, they can keep a straight face, but their body will reveal what their ego tries to hide. When someone feels something for you, their entire physical presence shifts, even if they are trying to stay composed. And this shift is not loud or dramatic. It's subtle, gentle, quiet, but deeply telling. You feel it before you even fully understand it because your instincts pick up what their posture is saying long before your mind does. You notice the way they angle themselves towards you, even when they are speaking to someone else, the way they lean slightly closer without meaning to, the way their shoulders turn to face you as if you are the center of gravity in the room. Think about how rare it is for someone's body to unconsciously respond to you. Most people go through their day in controlled, predictable movements. But when someone is drawn to you, their body becomes responsive, almost reactive. They step into your space just a little more than necessary. They maintain eye contact just a bit longer than what is normal. They tilt their head when you speak, not out of politeness, but out of genuine interest. These actions are unplanned, unfiltered, and completely honest. And that is why they hit you so strongly. You feel wanted not because of what they say, but because of what their body expresses without permission from their mind. And here's the truth that I want you to take seriously. Attraction makes people restless. It makes them adjust their clothes, play with their hands, fix their hair, touch their neck, or shift their weight, because their body is trying to release the energy that builds when you are near. This is not nervousness without reason. This is their body trying to manage the intensity they feel around you. When someone is indifferent, they remain still. When someone is attracted, they become alive. Even the smallest movement can carry meaning because the body speaks in a language deeper than logic, deeper than strategy, and deeper than self-control. They are not performing for you. They are reacting to you. When this happens, you may start doubting yourself, wondering whether you're reading too much into little things, wondering whether you are imagining their shift in energy. But I want you to understand something important. Your body is picking up signals long before you are consciously aware of them. Humans are wired to read micro-expressions, tone changes, posture shifts, and physical inclinations. If you feel that someone's presence becomes warmer, softer, or more open when you enter the space, it is not your imagination. It is a subconscious recognition that you have triggered something inside them. Sometimes the person will try to hide it, especially if they are shy, uncertain, or trying to play it cool. They may avoid looking at you directly, but notice you constantly. They may keep their distance physically, but lean in the second you start speaking. They may act calm, but their breath changes when you're close enough to hear it. Attraction makes people aware of every inch between you and them. They feel the distance. They feel the pull. They feel the shift in energy. And their body responds to that truth long before their words do. But the most powerful part of this silent signal is not what their body is doing. It's what it makes you feel. It makes you feel chosen without being chosen. It makes you feel wanted without anything being said. It makes you feel special in a way that catches you off guard because deep down, you register the fact that someone is attuned to you. Someone is physically present in a different way around you. Someone's internal world changes because you walked into the room. And that realization has a deep emotional impact because you're not responding to the fantasy of who you wish they were. You're responding to the truth of what their body is already telling you. And yes, this can scare you because when you notice their physical attraction, you also become aware of your own. You become aware of how your body reacts to, how your heart rate changes, how you stand a little differently, how your eyes keep finding them no matter where they are, how you feel heat rising inside you just from being near them. Romantic tension is rarely one-sided. It is a mirror. Their body reacts to you, and your body reacts to their reaction. That is why the air feels charged. That is why everything feels heavier, slower, sweeter. That is why silence between you two feels thick enough to touch. This silent body language is not an accident. It is a natural response to something real, something magnetic, something unspoken but deeply understood. The body speaks first, long before the heart gathers courage, long before the mind forms sentences, long before anyone admits what they feel. So when someone's body leans toward you, softens around you, opens in your presence, or moves in sync with you without effort, pay attention. Not because you should act on it immediately, but because it reveals something important. It reveals desire, it reveals connection, it reveals truth. And even if nothing happens next, the fact that someone's body is drawn to you is proof that you are someone who can move another person without touching them, without speaking, without trying, simply by being who you are. When you think about the third silent signal of powerful romantic tension, I want you to focus on something most people overlook. Yet it reveals more truth than any words ever could. It is the way conversations between you and that person become charged with a deeper layer of meaning, even when the words being spoken are simple, ordinary, or casual. You feel it in the pauses, in the tone, in the softness that enters their voice when they address you. You feel it in the way their attention sharpens when you speak, as if the rest of the room fades into the background and you become the only voice they can truly hear. This shift in communication is subtle, almost invisible to an outsider. Yet to the two people involved it feels unmistakably different, almost intimate, almost fragile, like the air between you contains something neither of you are ready to define, but neither of you can ignore. This kind of communication does not happen by accident. It happens because attraction has already built an emotional bridge, and whether either of you admits it or not, your minds have begun speaking to each other in coded, quiet ways. It might show up in the form of playful teasing, inside jokes that no one else understands, or conversations that stretch longer than they should because neither of you wants them to end. It may appear in the way they ask you questions with genuine curiosity, not to fill silence, but to learn you, to understand what makes you think the way you do. It could be the way their voice softens when they respond to you, as if your presence alone invites a different version of them, a more open, more vulnerable, more honest version. And here is the part most people underestimate. When someone feels that kind of tension with you, their communication becomes more deliberate without them realizing it. They choose their words more carefully because they want to leave the right impact. They listen more closely because what you say matters more than they expect. They remember details you shared in passing, not because they are trying to impress you, but because your voice imprints itself on their mind. Attraction sharpens awareness. It turns small interactions into meaningful exchanges. It turns casual moments into emotional anchors. Think about the way they respond when you share something personal. You notice how their eyes soften, how they lean in slightly, how their attention becomes firm and steady as if they are holding the moment with both hands. You feel their emotional presence in the conversation. They are not just listening to you, they are feeling you. They are absorbing your words with a kind of quiet intensity that tells you they are invested, maybe more than they should be, maybe more than they want you to know. And it is not just what they say to you, it is what they don't say. Romantic tension often hides in unfinished sentences, in glances that linger too long, in hesitations where a confession almost slips out but doesn't. You can feel the weight of everything unspoken. You can feel the way their voice trembles ever so slightly when they are trying to control emotions that want to rise to the surface. You can feel a kind of emotional vibration in the air between you, a pressure that builds slowly, silently, beautifully. This kind of communication is powerful because it feels effortless. You do not have to force the conversation. You do not have to pretend. You do not have to search for things to talk about. The energy between you carries the dialogue naturally, almost magnetically. You find yourselves laughing at the same things, reacting at the same time, finishing each other's ideas without meaning to. When someone feels that kind of connection, communication becomes a dance. One person moves, the other follows. One person shares, the other opens up in return. Words become less important than the emotion beneath them. And inside you, something shifts too. You begin to feel safe around them, even if you don't fully understand why. You begin to speak more freely, not because you plan to, but because something about their presence gives you permission. You begin to reveal small pieces of yourself that you don't reveal to everyone. There is comfort mixed with excitement, calm mixed with electricity, warmth mixed with danger. That is what powerful romantic tension sounds like. It is the blending of two emotional frequencies that match too closely to ignore. Sometimes this deepened communication shows up in silence, and that silence is not awkward. It is peaceful, grounding, meaningful. You sit next to them without needing to speak, yet the connection feels louder than words could ever make it. You feel understood. You feel seen. You feel sensed. That is a rare experience and is always a sign that something emotional is unfolding beneath the surface. But here is the most important truth. When communication between two people gains this depth, it is never one-sided. You feel it because they feel it. You experience that shift because they experience it too. Romantic tension is a shared emotional field. Their voice changes around you because they are affected by you. Their attention sharpens because something about you pulls them in. Their words soften because their heart reacts before their mind can filter the response. And the more you interact, the more this tension grows, tightening the emotional thread between you until both of you are aware, fully aware that something meaningful is happening. This silent shift in communication is not just a hint of attraction. It is the birthplace of emotional connection. It is the start of something real, something magnetic, something undeniable. And when you feel it, you are not imagining it. You are witnessing the quiet truth of someone's feelings revealing themselves through their voice, their attention, their pauses, their softness. Their heart is speaking long before they gather the courage to say the words aloud. When someone looks at you with that kind of softness in their eyes, that kind of quiet intensity that they can't quite hide, something powerful is happening beneath the surface, something they may not have the courage to say out loud. And when you notice it, even if you try to brush it off, even if you tell yourself it's nothing, deep down you feel it because that look carries a truth that words often fail to express. It's the kind of look that appears when a person is fighting between desire and restraint, between wanting to step closer and being afraid of what stepping closer might change. That gaze pauses for a second too long, lingers in places they never linger with anyone else, travels across your face with a quiet admiration that they think you won't notice, and yet you always do. That look feels like someone reaching out without moving their hands, someone whispering without parting their lips, someone confessing without forming a single word, and you know it because it affects you in a way that ordinary attention never could. What makes that silent signal so powerful is that it bypasses the mind and speaks directly to the heart. When someone looks at you like that, it is not logical, it is instinctive. They don't plan it. They don't practice it. They don't even realize they are doing it most of the time. It slips out of them because attraction is honest in a way people rarely are. Their eyes betray the thing they are trying to hold back. They may act composed. They may speak casually. They may pretend they are unaffected. But their eyes tell you everything they're trying not to say. And that honesty can shake you because it is rare to feel seen in a world where most people are distracted, rushed, guarded, and disconnected. But that look makes you feel noticed, chosen, and understood all at the same time, even if neither of you has dared to name what is happening. You can sense the emotional weight of that stare because it changes the energy in the room. The moment it happens, you feel the air tighten just a little, your awareness sharpens, and suddenly it is as if the rest of the world fades in its significance. It is not dramatic or loud, yet inside it feels massive. Something inside you wakes up, something warm, something curious, something vulnerable, and you feel your own gaze wanting to meet theirs even if you try to resist. And the moment your eyes finally connect, even briefly, there is a jolt, a spark, a pulse of recognition, as if your souls accidentally stepped too close and touched. That silent exchange says, I see you, I feel you, I am drawn to you, without a single word spoken. And that is why it stays with you. That is why you replay it in your mind long after the moment has passed. Sometimes that gaze comes from someone who is trying their hardest to hide how strongly they feel. They might think the timing is wrong, or they might worry about complicating the relationship, or they may fear rejection so deeply that silence feels safer than admitting the truth. But their eyes refuse to cooperate with their fears. Their eyes keep slipping back to you. Their eyes soften when you walk into the room. Their eyes follow you even when they pretend not to. They look at you the way people look at something they want, but aren't sure they're allowed to touch. And that tension creates a magnetism so strong that even you find yourself wondering what would happen if one of you finally stopped holding back. Other times that look comes from someone who is just beginning to discover how deeply they feel. They haven't understood it fully. They haven't processed it yet. They just know that your presence affects them differently from everyone else. They look at you with curiosity, admiration, and an unspoken desire to understand what it is about you that pulls them in. They study your smile. They watch how you move. They pay attention to your reactions, almost as if they're collecting moments just to make sense of why you matter so much. And even though they don't say it, their eyes reveal the truth that their heart has already begun to recognize. But the most beautiful part of this silent signal is how it transforms you too. When someone looks at you with that kind of depth, it reminds you that you are worthy of being seen. It reminds you that your presence can move someone. It reminds you that your existence has impact. And in a world where so many people overlook each other, where so many interactions feel shallow, rushed, or transactional, being looked at with genuine emotion feels like being given oxygen. It makes you stand just a little taller, breathe a little deeper, and believe a little stronger that maybe you are more captivating than you give yourself credit for. That gaze doesn't just reveal romantic tension. It reveals connection, longing, admiration, and fear all at once. It reveals someone who cares, someone who notices the smallest details, someone who is affected by you in ways they can't disguise. It reveals a heart that is trying to speak through the only channel it feels safe to use. So when you see that look, when you feel it hit you, don't dismiss it. Don't pretend it means nothing. That look is a message, a confession, and a moment of truth wrapped in silence. And sometimes the things said without words are the things that echo the loudest. There are moments when someone's presence feels like a quiet gravity pulling you closer, and even though neither of you says anything obvious, the air between you changes in a way that is impossible to ignore. That change often reveals itself in the subtle shift of how a person's voice sounds when they speak to you, the gentle softening that happens when they address you, the warmth that sneaks into their tone even when the conversation is ordinary. And I want you to truly hear this, because their tone is never accidental. People can control their words, they can control their expressions, they can control their posture, but they cannot fully control their voice when emotion begins to rise underneath the surface. A person who feels a deep pull toward you cannot hide the way their voice softens, deepens, or warms when they speak to you. And when you listen closely, you can feel the truth that their words are too afraid to say. You notice it when they greet you, that tiny pause before they speak, almost as if their mind is trying to settle itself before their voice betrays their feelings. You notice it when they say your name, because suddenly your name sounds different coming from them. It carries emotion, care, and a hint of admiration they never manage to hide fully. Their voice becomes gentle with you, patient with you, even protective of you in a way they do not extend to others. And when someone's voice changes for you, it is one of the clearest signals that something meaningful is happening beneath the surface. Because voices reveal what hearts try to conceal. And you feel that shift inside yourself too. When someone speaks to you with that kind of softness, you feel seen, valued, acknowledged, and emotionally held in a way you didn't expect. Their tone makes you pay attention, makes you feel safe, makes you feel something warm unfolding inside you, even if the conversation is simple. That is the power of tone. It carries emotional weight, it carries intention, it carries desire, and it communicates what words alone cannot. It is the difference between someone being polite and someone being drawn to you. It is the difference between conversation and connection. What makes this silent signal so powerful is that it happens naturally, without planning, without performance, without conscious effort. The person doesn't choose to speak that way. They simply do because they cannot help themselves. Their heart moves first and their voice follows. Even if they try to keep things neutral, even if they mask their feelings around everyone else, The moment they speak to you, their voice gives them away. And you can feel the tension, the longing, the hesitation, and the emotional pull wrapped inside every word. It is subtle, but it is undeniable. Sometimes their tone becomes quieter around you, more focused, more intentional, as if they are afraid that saying too much will reveal too much. Other times it becomes warmer, more playful, more emotionally open, as if your presence disarms the walls they keep up around everyone else. They may not realize the shift themselves, but you do, because the way they speak to you makes you feel different, makes you feel chosen, makes you feel that you hold a part of them they haven't offered to anyone else. And that tone becomes a language of its own, a hidden conversation happening beneath the real one. You can also hear their nervousness, not the nervousness of fear, but the nervousness of wanting to say the right thing, wanting to stay composed, wanting to hide how deeply you affect them. Their words may be steady, but their voice trembles ever so slightly, revealing how much they care about how you perceive them. And that trembling is not weakness, it is truth. It is the truth of someone who has feelings they are not ready to admit. And maybe you have felt this yourself, that strange tightening in your chest when they speak to you, that awareness that rises when you hear the warmth in their tone, that sensation that makes you read deeper into every word they say. It is because tone is emotional touch. It is the way someone reaches out to you without lifting their hands. It is the way someone holds you without making contact. It is the way someone tells you they feel something even when they stay silent about what that something is. A person who has no emotional investment speaks neutrally, casually, effortlessly. But a person who feels tension speaks differently. Their voice gives away their softness for you. Their voice gives away their interest in you. Their voice gives away that somewhere inside them, a feeling is growing, one they cannot fully hide no matter how hard they try. And this silent signal becomes even more powerful when the two of you are alone. When the rest of the world fades and the room feels quieter, their voice naturally falls into a tone that is more vulnerable, more honest, more unguarded. It is in those moments you hear the truth they are not ready to speak. It is in those moments their feelings feel almost tangible, hanging in the air between you like something both of you feel but neither dares to name. Their voice becomes a message, a confession, a doorway, and sometimes the beginning of something neither of you were expecting. And if you pay attention, truly pay attention, you will recognize that this silent shift in tone is not just romantic tension. It is emotional connection. It is desire wrapped in restraint. It is affection wrapped in fear. It is the heart speaking when the lips refuse to. It is love learning how to breathe before it learns how to speak. There is a moment in every silent connection when the air between two people becomes heavier, almost charged, as if something unspoken is shaping itself in the space that neither of them has the courage to touch. And one of the strongest signals that this tension is real, deep, and undeniably mutual is when both of you begin to mirror each other without realizing it. This mirroring is not deliberate, not planned, not performed. It is instinctive. It is the body's quiet admission that the heart has already leaned forward. And when two people mirror each other without meaning to, it reveals something powerful, something human, something intimate that words cannot express. You have probably felt it before when you are talking to someone and notice that they adjust their posture right after you do, or they lean in at the exact moment you lean in, or they smile with the same timing as if your expression guided theirs. It feels like an emotional echo, a rhythm forming between you, almost like a dance that neither of you rehearsed but both of you somehow know. Mirroring is one of the purest expressions of connection because the body follows the emotion long before the mind admits it. And when someone mirrors you, it means they are emotionally tuned into you, present with you, and responding to you on a deeper level than they consciously understand. This kind of mirroring does not happen with everyone. It does not happen when someone is uninterested, distracted, or emotionally detached. It happens when someone feels drawn to you, when your presence affects them, when they are subtly trying to create closeness without ever saying it out loud. Sometimes it's the crossing of arms at the same moment, or the softening of shoulders in sync, or the shift in breathing that aligns without effort. You notice them adjusting in small, almost invisible ways just because you did. That is the silent language of